What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another commentary section. Alright, so we're in the ruins, the good old demon ruins. We just recently defeated the witch Quelaag. And now we're going to go ahead and try to tighten up another boss. Now, speaking of another boss, there is one way that I have always defeated the boss, right? What I always did, well, actually, I can't even say always. Most times, especially when I first played the game, I would enter the arena with a homeward bone, right? I would go ahead, trace this route that you guys see me tracing, and then I'll go over, and acquire the high-speed gold hem set, the gold hem armor set. Alright, now at this point I would usually use the bone. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a different way to kill the boss in the event that you are not already familiar with the way. So this is an alternative way. Alright, well actually I didn't even really explain the first one. What I would do is I would go ahead and return, and then I would come up this corridor, and his attack would be to extend his arm down the corridor, and it'll be sitting there for a few seconds, and then I just kind of hack away at it. And I would have to do that about 3 or 4 iterations. Now, later on, I learned this way of defeating the Ceaseless Discharge, and I'm just going to share it with you guys in the event that you are unfamiliar, because it is actually the fastest way, right? Well, actually I can't say fastest. Out of the different ways that I have tried, it is the fastest way. You guys may have some kind of one-hit kill tactic, but this is the fastest way that I have found to kill it. That's it. Alright? That is it. Victory achieved. So now the lava is going to go ahead and dry up. And now that it is dry, we will have access to the lower depths of the demon ruins. Alright, but, we're not even worried about the demon ruins right now. So we're going to go ahead and exit the depths. Actually, not the depths, Blight Town. Going up through Quelaag's domain. And we're going to go ahead and return to the first bonfire. Now, ordinarily, especially with the pyro build, most people will stop by and purchase all those pyromancies. At this point, I'm not really thinking about that, and here's why. To ensure the maximum effectiveness of the pyromancies, it is my opinion that you should have at least 45 dexterity. Now, what do I mean by maximum effectiveness? Obviously, I'm not talking about the power, right? Because the power is still there. I'm talking about the casting speed. And since I would be lacking that, I don't know. I mean, it kind of would give me a disadvantage, right? So at this particular point, I'm not really interested in purchasing those pyromancies. Now, maybe later on, the next time I come down in this area, I might just buy them for GP in the event that I decide to change my mind. But at this point right now, I'm not even really thinking about it. So we're just going to go ahead and exit Blighttown. Got stuck on a pillar right there. Go up all the ladders. Go ahead and make my way up the windmill. Almost fell there. Alright. And you guys pretty much know the rest from here. Now, going up, there is an armor set actually that you can acquire. In addition to there's some type of miracle over there, and I forgot. I think it's some type of curse miracle, right? Where it kind of increase your defense against curse. I mean, I've never used that. Well, I can't say that. When I was a noob, I used to cast that right before I would fight the Ceaseless boss fight. You know, I was a super noob. I had to make sure I got that miracle, right? Alright, but now I'll know a little better. Right? Because when you know better, you do better. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and exit. Give them some nice back action. Acquire my dung pie. And, you know, we'll leave these guys alone. They're not a threat. They're not bothering anything. And we're out of here. So now, we're in the Valley of the Drakes. And we're going to make our way to Sin's Fortress. Right? Because we have rung both bells, which was the prerequisite to be able to enter Sin's Fortress. And now that we have satisfied that requirement, we are on our way. It's funny when I'm kind of thinking about it because I remember the first time, my very first playthrough, I mean, it seemed like forever it took me to get through this game. But nowadays when I play it, I mean, it's pretty much a breeze. You know, you go through this routine so many times, it's almost like riding a bike. Alright, back at the shrine. And if you guys remember, we acquired that Fire Keeper, and actually I almost forgot. But we're going to go ahead and upgrade our Estus. So we should now be at Estus. That's right, there we go. Estus +5. Oh, well, I stand corrected. We're not going into Sin's Fortress. We're going to go ahead and descend into the Catacombs. Because at this point, we want to be able to upgrade, well, actually not upgrade, kindle our bonfires. So in order to do that, we need to go ahead and acquire the Rite of Kidling. So we're just going to go ahead and descend into the Catacombs. And actually, if you guys will notice, I do not have a divine weapon. Now, what are the divine weapons for in the event that you don't already know? The divine weapons will allow for you to kill these skeletons without first having to kill the, what are those things called? Well, I'll just say holder of the lantern, right? I don't have the names in front of me and I really have a bad memory. I'll just say holder of the lantern, that particular thing. It would allow you to kill them without first having to kill the holder of the lantern. Now, if you did not have a divine weapon, you would have to hunt that thing down first before you were able to successfully kill one of those skeletons. Alright, so we're going to kindle it up to 10. actually, we're going to try a high-speed invasion. Now, for some reason, we're not able to invade. So what I'm thinking is someone tried to invade us, but it went away. Right? And that's what usually happens. Now, that's one particular thing that I hate about this game. Because one thing that I have found is if you're trying to invade and that thing's happened to you, there's two options based upon my experience. Either you can just wait until the time is over and then you're able to invade. Right? Because see, as you guys can see for yourself, it should say, searching for a world to invade. But it's not happening. So probably someone tried to invade us for whatever reason. They couldn't. So now I'm kind of like in idle mode as far as invasions are concerned until the time is reset. Now, an alternative, well, actually, speak of the devil. Alright, so he's trying to hit me off with the fireball. And I'm kind of getting some more space because I have the skeletons there attacking. But who cares about that? I'll just go ahead and poke up the skeletons. Skeletons are not really a threat, but he's trying to catch me with the fireball while I'm occupied. And see, that's what happened when you have less than 45 dexterity. Did you guys notice that slow casting time? Because once he depressed the button, you could see the pyromancy firing up in his hand, and it allowed me to take several steps and even run behind him. Now, when you have 45 dexterity, that's a lot more difficult to do, and oftentimes if you try to brave it up and run towards your opponent, they will catch you with that fireball or whatever other pyromancy they're trying to fire up. Alright, but we proved to be successful that particular time. So let's go ahead and try it again. Let's first kind of upgrade a little bit. We're now at level, what's that, 58 I think. Let's try to invade. Alright, yada yada. Tighten these guys up. Try it again. And you know what? I don't even take the time to try to fight any of these guys. I mean, I just run past them. I do that pretty much the whole way. That's ridiculous. There's no need to try to battle it out, even after you fight that lantern holder. Alright, so now we're invading. Let's see if we can be successful a second time. Alright. So now we're here. Hailquist. What is that, German? I don't understand what that QVIST is. Anyway, let's see what we got. Alright. Just kind of looking around. Hopefully he won't hit us with the bridge action. Now, for some reason, he should have been caught with that. And you know, that happens to me, though it is rare. It happens at times where for some reason I can be standing right in front of them and still can't land the riposte. I hate that. Right, but it's rare. Now, if you guys notice the way he's swinging, I think he was using the unlock attack. And actually, I get a little too cocky thinking that my one poke would finish it. Right, but he had just a little more HP than I expected. So we suffer an unfortunate loss. But, you know, who cares? Chalk it off to experience. It is what it is a game. Alright, so we're back at it. We're going to go ahead and fire up the humanity, because even though we have to go back and get our souls, we will still make ourselves available for invasions. Well, make ourselves available to get invaded. Alright, let's just trace our steps. Alright, and we have our successful retrieval. Let's go ahead and rotate that bridge so we can successfully cross it. Go ahead and take us a Soul of a Proud Knight. We'll need that. And we'll actually try to invade. Hopefully we can get our get-backs from that last invader that just defeated us. Actually, he wasn't even an invader, for the last host that defeated us. Alright, run past these guys. We don't need to fight them. Run past these guys, because we can't do anything till we defeat this ridiculous ghoul. Alright. And actually, I've been killed a number of times here. Right? Because when you just run past them like I did, it'll be like 4 or 5 of them just swatting at you. And not only do they swat at you, but they also hit you with the bleed effect. Almost failed there. Kind of got a little lucky. Failed to invade. Alright. Let's go ahead and sit at the bonfire. Reset our position in the event that we suffer another unfortunate death, and we won't have to start at the first bonfire. Alright, now, your first exchange with this person, you always want to answer no. If you answer yes, he will attack, and you will not be able to learn the prostration gesture. Alright, so let's go ahead and descend onto this point. Defeat this ridiculous lantern holder. We're going to release the first, and I think that gives us access to the first bridge. And we're back in the catacombs. Alright. Now, he's going to ask us, he's going to give us a line of questioning along the lines of, did he give us trouble or something like that? And we will truthfully answer yes. Right? Why not? And we will be awarded with humanity. Alright. Thanks for that. Now, before we go ahead down and attempt to defeat the boss, we're going to go ahead and grab a sentence ring. And also, since the faith path is an option, we will also go after a miracle. Right? And that is the dreaded tranquil walk of peace. I really don't know why so many people hate that. I really don't. I hear a lot of guys, well, not just hear them, I read a lot of these comments, and usually when you read the comments, what they'll say, oh yeah, the only thing I ever run into is full Havels, full Giants, Mother's Mask, Father's Mask, and Tranquil Walk of Peace. You know what, guys? I'm going to be quite honest. Although I do run into those guys, I do not run into them often. Right? A lot of times I hear these other dudes who say, oh man, I swear to God, all I do is run into backstab fishers. It's ridiculous. The game is broken. You hear them say that, but honestly, when I'm playing the game, I don't find a lot of fishers. Right? So sometimes I'm wondering, are these guys just Do they just focus on the thing that they lose against the most? And, since they may lose the most against it, in their mind, that's all they run into? Or is it that they just read the forums and they're basically a parrot of the forums? Because that's where I read these comments a lot. But I don't know. Everything is relative. Based upon my personal experience, I do not run into a lot of fishers, for one. And even though I will run into a lot of guys in the kiln with the full, with the full havels and all like that, when I'm doing my random invasions, I do not. It is very rare that I run into that. Usually people are just playing their game, wearing whatever they deem appropriate. Right? So I don't know. Like I said before, everything is relative. Maybe in your experience, every single person you invade or you get invaded by is rocking the full Havels, full Giants, Darkwood Grand Ring, Tranquil Walk of Peace. But not me. Now, to the extent that I did run into a Tranquil Walk of Peace user, who cares, guys? Right? And this is one of the reasons why I don't complain that much. The main thing that I complain about is the gankers. That is a legitimate complaint because I don't think anyone expect. And that was a good move for him because he was about to get it. Most things, if not everything in this game, has a counter. Right? It's not too many things, whether you like it or not. Right? No matter how much you hate it, because I read the comments and you guys just basically parrot the same arguments. The mother's mask and the father's mask. Look, dude, this is how you counter the Tranquil Walk of Peace. If you're fighting a guy and off in the distance you see him get into that prayer position, you should be able to recognize what the Tranquil Walk looks like. Now, it doesn't even last forever. So, as soon as you see them cast, you run. You don't just stand there and try to brave it off. Right? Now, let's just say they're so effective with the Tranquil Walk that you can't run. This is where the pairing comes into play. Now, I mean, like I said before, everything is relative. Maybe it's not a problem to me because, I can fend against it. Maybe you guys become a victim of it because perhaps you can't parry, or maybe they're backstabbing you, or whatever they do. Maybe that's why you don't like it. But me, hey, Tranquil Walk is really not a problem. Now, how do you defend against it? In most cases, based upon my experience, once they hit you with the Tranquil Walk of Peace, they start spamming the R1. And if they don't spam the R1, they circle you to try to backstab. Now, that is not a problem. Right? And the reason why it's not a problem is because when you see them circling you, you just continue to circle yourself. And in most cases, what will happen is when you're both circling each other, he's going to get frustrated, or he or she will start to get frustrated because they can't land the backstab, and they'll just start spamming the R1 because they know that the Tranquil Walk has a timetable on it. Right? I don't know if it's 15 seconds or 10 seconds, but they just can't continue to circle you, attempt after attempt after attempt. No, the Tranquil Walk runs out. So usually after they circle you for a little while and they see that you're also circling, they start to spam the R1. And as soon as they spam the R1, you engage. So this is why. Now, there's some guys out there that are pretty tricky. Right? What they'll do is they'll hit you with the Wrath of Gods and then they'll backstab you. But in most cases, I get the same type of guys. To the extent that they try to pop you off with the Tranquil Walk of Peace, all they do is circle you, or they'll spam the R1. So it's not a problem, guys. At least not to me, it's not. So this is why we don't complain in the brigade. Because there's ways to defend against basically everything in this game. Alright guys, that's the end of Pinwheel. Stay tuned for the next episode. Martyrs Brigade is out.